Hi, my name is Toff and welcome back to Toff Tries. In the past 8-9 weeks I've been pretty busy with university. It's been probably the longest stretch we've had at Newcastle without a break. So I was just going, putting up whatever little content I could here and there just to keep the channel kind of ticking over. Didn't really work, but I'm back and I'm better. And over the next month of the Easter break, I'm just going to be uploading content after content, mostly focused on the Newcastle University conversion course that I'm doing at the moment. I'm blanking all the words because this is the second time I've filmed this video today. But I'm going to have so much content. It's going to be from this video today, which talks about the application process, to more videos that are coming down the line talking about my grades and how I got my grades and what studying tips I'd recommend, to I might do 2 videos, like a semester 1, all the projects that we did, a semester 2, all the projects that we've handed in. Kind of more of a video to let you know what to expect if you're doing this course specifically. But if you're doing a conversion course in general, I imagine it will all kind of ramp up like this course. So me going through the projects gives you kind of an idea of what to expect and how to prepare in advance. And it kind of gives people that are deciding not to do the course, kind of gives them ideas for projects to put in their own personal portfolios. And this helps both groups of people because I'm not giving you any code, and you kind of have to go and like tweak it and figure it out for yourselves. But today's video is going to be the application process. So this is quite a generic process, to be fair. The only thing that's different from any other master's process is the fact that you're applying for the MSc Conversion Course. But throughout this video, I'll make sure to, I might minimize myself and kind of show you what the forms look like on the screen. I'm definitely going to put all the links below because Newcastle University is such a helpful university. They have so many tips and tricks and pieces of information on their website that it's just so much information. The only reason I would say watch this video is because I've got a little bit of personality as well. But you could actually read their information that they give to you and you'd be completely fine. So I've got my trusty notes here and we're going to dive into it because I'm losing light and this video is getting quite dark quite quickly. Okay, so Newcastle University uses this. They call it the Newcastle University Application Portal. Genius, right? But for existing students, this links to something called S3P. If you're an existing student, you'll know what this is. It's the Student Self-Service Portal. I messed it up every other single time I said it. And this is good to know for future Newcastle University students because it is where you get your transcripts and when you apply for jobs, your if you haven't already graduated, your future employer will want your transcripts so they can go through your grades, or they will want your certificate, and you can issue yourself a new certificate if you can't print it, it gets posted to you. But if you lose your graduation certificate, you can order a new one through S3P. So it's quite a generic form. So once you've signed up if you're not a student, or you log in with your S3P details if you are a student, it's what you would expect. So there's a page that has called like your details, which is like your name, your date of birth, and if you are an existing student, sorry I keep saying this, but if you are an existing student, it fills in some of this information already because it needed it for your undergraduate degree. So Newcastle University is super helpful. And if you're looking at this just for the Newcastle Masters application process, there's a page on the Newcastle website that lists all of their postgraduate degrees. And you can filter it by Masters or PhD, you can filter it by research or taught, and it's a really helpful website. I was really shocked to see that some other universities I went to didn't have this page. So if you're looking for any Masters course, so you're not here for the conversion course, I'd recommend that page and it'll be linked down below. But most of you will be here for the computer science conversion course, so you jot that in and then you can say how it's going to be funded. So if you're going to get a scholarship, you need to let them know. But most people like myself would be self-funded. That includes if you're paying out of your own pocket, and it also includes if you're getting the postgraduate loan, which is how I'm paying, because technically it's paid to you first and then it's at your discretion how to use the funds. So for me, for example, because I get an alumni discount, I save some of the funds for my rent, and then I put the rest of the funds towards the university. So there's also a page where you need to detail your qualifications. So I'm sure they ask for your A-levels and they ask for your undergraduate degree, but they also kind of carry out the fact that they know that some people go straight from undergrad to masters. So you're allowed to put your predicted grades as well. So it's also possible that you'll be given a conditional offer if you haven't graduated yet, and you'll need to upload your supporting document of your degree certificate once you graduate. So they also have a section about professional work experience. With this, I would keep it quite streamlined. I wouldn't be like, so on the first day of my first job after university, or like, well, I wouldn't go into tons of detail. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I wouldn't like, and so my friend Rebecca and I, oh my god, so we were like, this is such a great job, but it's not technical. Like, I wouldn't obviously do stuff like that. I just think it needs to be said sometimes. It would be more like job description, like job title, where it was, the years that you worked there, and then bullet points of like your responsibilities and your achievements, like manage the Kanban board from a Scrum team. Kanban board for a Scrum team. Say that 3 times fast. Kanban board for no, not gonna work. But because I used to be sort of a business analyst with project manager tendencies, and that's what I would list for my job. So yeah, don't really go into too much detail there. Keep that fairly high level, because you've got a whole personal statement where you would go into more detail as to the aspects of the job that really defined you and pushed you maybe into this course. And I think that's for more experienced people. I think if you're a bit younger, you'll probably refer back to your undergraduate degree or things that you've done outside of university in your personal statement. But obviously this work experience is going to vary depending on how much work experience you have. But regardless, it should be fairly streamlined. And it should be tailored to the most important responsibilities and achievements that link to this degree, or very impressive responsibilities and achievements, let's be frank. So if you're an international student, there's an English language section. So I think, I apologise, I'm not very well versed in this area, but I think there's like a TOEFL exam. I think it's TOEFL or TOEFL, and that is like an English language exam that you do to prove your proficiency in English. I think there's a number of different exams that you can do, and you can list your proficiency there. And there is a baseline level that Newcastle University want you to reach before you can apply for the course. And if you're a native speaker, you tick a box and it basically wipes off everything that's on that page, and you don't have to fill any of it in. So then we get to the interesting bit, we get to the personal statement. Well, there's 2 interesting bits. There's the personal statement and there's the referees. But the personal statement, in my opinion, is far more interesting. There's 2 ways to upload your personal statement. There doesn't really seem to be a word limit, but if you type into the sort of text box they give you, you have 6,000 characters. Now, I don't know what that means in terms of words, because obviously characters includes punctuation. But my guess is that's about 1,000 to 2,000 words. 1,500 to 2,000 words. Because obviously characters also include spaces. But to be fair, anything more than that and you would likely be rambling. So I would just say, yes, try and put a lot of information in, but still try to be specific and still try to be concise where you can. Just because this is a demonstration of your ability to write. And throughout the course, as I'll explain in later videos, like, comment, subscribe, you'll see that there's actually quite a lot of writing. So if you can't write a personal statement, they probably won't let you in because you won't be able to write an essay. So the other way to upload or to get your personal statement into your application is to upload a Word file, which is my preferred way, because you can control the formatting, you can make it look a bit better than if you just type the text in. So let's jump into tips about the actual personal statement and not just overhead boring topics that anyone could find. First things first, as I said, Newcastle University is comprehensive. So they have a whole web page where they break down what they'd want you to cover in your personal statement. So I'll link that below, but I'll also put that on the screen, because I think that really, honestly, if you didn't want to listen to me, and you could actually literally go to that page and just do what they say on that page. Watching this video for the personal statement is just a little bit more fun, and you get to hear me talk about my personal statement experience. Back in 2019, when I wrote my personal statement, I used that comprehensive web page, and I think they had several bullet points back then as well, but I condensed them into ones that I thought kind of were overarching. So I had the headings: why would I be capable for the course? Why do I want to do the course? And why choose Newcastle University? And I think those are three key things to say. You kind of want to show them that you're not going to drop out halfway, that you can manage the workload. You want to show them that actually you do want Newcastle University over perhaps other conversion courses, and there are quite a few out there, and you do want to show them why it would be important for your dreams as well. Like, you're not just going for the fun of it. How will it help you in next steps? So for example, in the why choose Newcastle University, you might want to say something like you want to learn Java, because I know, for example, I think Bath does Python, teaches Python, and I think UCL teaches C as their main coding language. All of these object-oriented programming languages. So for example, you might want to say, I would like to learn Java because it's a higher level language, which means it will make it easier for me to learn lower level languages like Python without it being as complicated as C, and it's well used in industry. It was the leading language for years and has only recently been overtaken by Python. You might want to say something like that. Something that's technical, that's specific, and that shows why you prefer this course, perhaps over other universities. For why would I be capable, you kind of want to talk about your previous grades, your work experience, especially if you've coded before, any projects that you've done before. You might even want to put a little link to maybe your GitHub account, showing that you have the capacity to code. So let me quickly go through my personal statement so you can kind of get an idea of a personal statement that was accepted and the kind of things that I wrote, and you can all cringe together because I'm a little bit older now, and when you look back at things, you're just a bit like, oh, okay. So why do I want to do the course? I wasn't 100% sure that this master's course was for me until I took QA's Analysing Data with Excel course back in April 2018. I was expecting the course to cover using the concatenate function, creating some if and countif statements, and some information that would enable me to learn how to use pivot tables more effectively. How basic. Sorry if you love Excel. I was completely surprised by the course, which quickly diverted from Excel and plunged into DAX, SQL syntaxes, databases, and database relationships. On the second day of the course, I realised that I had found the mental stimulation I had been lacking in architecture, and quickly began looking for a master's where I would be able to expand what I had been learning on the Analysing Data with Excel course. Now, I'm not trying to brag, because I do actually like this whole master's, even if it is a bit cringe at points. But the reason I picked that bit out is because I feel like it shows a story, and a very personal story of my growth. It shows why I didn't like architecture, because it wasn't mentally stimulating enough. I was a CAD monkey. I was just drawing other people's designs on CAD all day, AutoCAD. It also explained what I loved about the course. So they have a whole databases module, and I tried to be really specific about including that, and including what I'd done on the course. So I've read some really great personal statements since doing this course. I've read some really great personal statements since I've been on this course and since I've been doing this YouTube channel, and they read very well, but they're very general. So someone will talk about a course that they did, but they won't go down into the nitty-gritty of what the project they completed on the course was, or the tools or the skills that they developed on the course. And I think you really want to say, for example, I learned HTML, creating form functions and posting these form data to a server. Or I used Postman to test that an API that I had created worked optimally. You really want to use not necessarily buzzwords, but you want to use keywords that explain exactly what you did and really show to the reader that you're actually interested in the technical side. It's not just because computer science pays well or because computer science is really popular that you want to do it now. Why choose Newcastle University? Honestly, I'm a bit of a ride or die for Newcastle University. For just Newcastle as a city, I don't think it gets the love it deserves. Everyone's like, oh, it's so far away. Yes, it is far away, and it's worth the trip. If you can go to Edinburgh, you can go to Newcastle, and you'll love it. So I feel like this enthusiasm for the city really came across. I said, I would like to come back to Newcastle University, as having studied there previously, I understand that the quality of teaching I will be getting will be of the highest standard. And honestly, as cringe as that sounds to say it out loud, facts. Big facts. Because I remember speaking to, I've not really spoken to conversion course students at other universities, but I remember when I did architecture, and I spoke to students that did architecture at other universities. I specifically remember Canterbury being one of the universities I spoke to, and I was talking about how we had sort of stipends, or we had some money given to us so we could use some of the machines. So we could use a laser cutter, we could use a CNC drilling machine, we could use the big sort of cutting machines, and we were given a little bit of money at the start of the first year that we could kind of try and make last till the third year. We also had money for the massive printing machines that would print your work at A1. And this was so different to a lot of the other universities that I'd spoken to. So my friend from Canterbury had to pay for everything, just from the get-go, whereas Newcastle University tried to subsidise a lot. And I'm 100% sure that carries out across the board. So I'm also aware of the Helix building and the high-quality learning environment that will be provided. So when I was at Newcastle University, there's a whole section where the business school and sort of the science buildings are, that's super modern and kind of away from the older campus. When I was at Newcastle, this hadn't been built yet, and they're still adding to it to this day. But it's not the Helix building, it's actually the USB building, which is the Urban Sciences building, which is basically for computer science. And it's a ridiculous name for computer science until you realise that it's USB. And then you're like, I get it. Like, there's no need for it to be called that, but I get it. It's great. And if you want to see what the facilities are like at Newcastle University, because I'm not telling a lie, they are great. I'll link the video at below, and I'll put it at the end card, showing where I show some of the Newcastle University facilities, because they're great. They even have the tables where you can close them or you can open them, and then it sort of opens up, and there's a screen and a laptop. No, not a laptop. There's a whole computer, but you can close it and you can work on your laptop instead. High class. I'm excited. I think I'm overexcited by it, but it's great. But yeah, I would say if you are a party student, maybe don't harp on it, but everyone is aware of the Newcastle nightlife. So if that's what you want, maybe mention it. Just let them know that you'd also be dedicated to the course. But if that's what you like, they have it. They have stuff for everyone, but that's what mostly draws the crowds. So that's the personal statement section. The last section is the referees section. So this can be complicated or can be simple, depending whether or not you have the referees already. So for me, I spoke to two of my tutors that I knew would remember me and knew were likely to give me positive reviews from my undergraduate degree. If you're a bit older, because this course can be for anyone, for career changes, this course is so diverse. But they don't say that you need an academic tutor, just someone that has overseen your learning. So it could be an L&D officer from your company, for example. It could be a line manager that has sent you on training and that does reviews with you, maybe yearly or quarterly. There's so many different options. The only thing I would make sure to say is, and I think this is common knowledge, but I just say it, is just make sure to let them know that they're going to be referees, because they will get contacted. So make sure they've got a heads up before. Make sure that they remember you. For example, if you're using a teacher from secondary school, just hit them up first. Butter them up a little bit. Do not tell anyone I said that. But yeah, so you need 2 references, not necessarily academic, just having overseen your learning. So I'm going to now go into sort of my personal timeline and my experience in the Newcastle University application process. So if you're kind of done, that's okay. Just don't forget to leave a like and a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. But I'm now going to go into more like timelines and my personal experience. So as I said, I think earlier in the video, I actually applied in February of 2019, so the very end of February. And then to let people, I actually deferred a year because where I was working, they were starting a really interesting project and I wanted to be a part of it because I knew it would be beneficial for my understanding, learning, future, and for my CV. So I deferred it for a year. But to let people know, you can only defer it for 1 year. So if I then couldn't have attended in 2020, I would have had to give up my place and reapply. So I applied in at the end of February. Now looking back, I think this is late. And looking at Newcastle University's website, they also say that this is late. They say the best times to apply is about a year before you plan on joining, so September. But they do say the autumn semester is fine, so that's September, October, November, December. So I definitely think I was late. And I would say if I were to do it again, I would have applied in maybe November, October, just because the course is very popular. So if you apply earlier, you're more likely to get in because there's lower demand, there's more spaces. You don't have to be as good necessarily as someone that comes along later when there's like 5 spaces left and they're fighting about who to give it to. So apply early. My point is, if you're looking at this to apply for 2021, to be fair, you could still apply. So the course is actually has no deadline. They just stop accepting people. They stop accepting international students, specifically mainland Chinese students, because the course is very popular in China. So they want the course to be very balanced. So at a certain amount, they'll stop accepting a certain group of students. So there's enough European students, enough British students, enough international students from other places to give the course a bit of balance. So technically you could apply whenever. I would just say early is better. And then my timeline is I spoke to my references in November. I then applied in February. And then I was told I was supposed to receive a response in May, June. So I didn't. At this point, to be fair, now I'm like, well, you applied very late. But looking back, I was like, why do I not know? So I reached out to my references and I said, hey, has anyone reached out to you? They told me no. So I reached out to the university and said, hey, my references haven't been spoken to. Is everything okay with my application? The next day I get a message from my reference saying, oh, they've reached out to me. So I would say, just from that experience, I doubt it was deliberate. I imagine it's because I was late. But I would say, if you actually don't hear by June, July, reach out and let them know. So because I'd already graduated, I got an unconditional offer. But I think it's highly likely if you haven't graduated yet, you'll get an unconditional offer. And then on confirmation that you've got your grades, which is a 2-2, they'll accept you and send you your confirmation letter and all the information you need to know. But honestly, I am so excited for everyone that wants to choose to do this course. I can't recommend this course enough. I think it's a great course. I think the teachers are great. I think the students are great. I think the opportunities it opens up are great. And my LinkedIn has kind of been buzzing with lots of different companies saying, oh, we like your experience. Oh, we like your degree. Do you want to apply for this role? So do it. And on that note, I think I'm going to go. I think I'm losing my voice. It's getting dark. I'm tired. But have a great day and take care.